Good morning, class 8. So, in the last class, we talked about diseases caused by protozoa, and today we will be dealing with the topic diseases caused by parasitic worms. In the last class, I talked about the parasites. Parasites are the organisms which feed on others' body. They live on others' body, other organisms. So the other organisms on which the parasitic or parasites live are known as host. There are certain parasitic worms too, and these worms cause various kind of diseases. So today we will be talking about different parasitic worms and the diseases caused by them. The first disease is Ascariasis, caused by a common roundworm, also known as Ascaris. Now you might be aware of this organism. You have already seen the specimen of Ascaris in your school lab. Ascaris are cylindrical elongated organisms, look similar to certain extent. That means both the gender look similar, but there are certain differences. As you know, the female is slightly longer than the male, and the male Ascaris have a curved tail. So you can slightly identify them by the male with a curved tail and female longer than the male. Now the question is how Ascaris enters the human body and causes Ascariasis infection. It happens in this way. Suppose a person is already infected by Ascariasis. That means he is a patient of Ascariasis. Then the parasite is already present inside his body, and where is the site of parasite inside the body? It is mostly present in the intestine region. So what happens? The female parasite which is there in the body, the female Ascaris, it will start laying eggs. It lays eggs in thousand amount, and all those eggs will pass out with the feces or the excretory waste of the human body, and that waste will get mixed up with the soil, and the crops and vegetables which are grown on the soil, the eggs present in the soil will get attached to all the crops and vegetable, and when you eat those vegetables and different crops or different eatables without washing it properly, you can also get infected, as the parasite will enter your body in form of egg. Now the second way it can enter the body is like children and all. No, you might have also been playing in the soil and all. So when you are playing in the soil, the eggs get attached to your hands. These eggs are very microscopic. You won't be able to see with your naked eyes. So when you eat your food without washing your hand properly, coming from an infected ground which was infected by the parasitic eggs, that eggs through your mouth will enter your body, and it will go and stay in the intestine region, and it will grow there. That egg will hatch out, and the parasite will come out. It will go there, grow there, and it will become very big. It will increase its size. Then again the female will lay the egg, and this is how the cycle continues. What are probably the symptoms of Ascariasis? It is not given in the book, but I am telling you. As these parasites are staying in the intestine of the human being, all the digested food, we are eating food, it gets digested and we get energy. So what these parasites are doing, they are absorbing all the undigested food. So our body is unable to utilize the digested food, so the body becomes very weak. Physically the body becomes very weak. This is the first symptom. stomach pain, restlessness, and vomiting. These are the different symptoms of ascariasis. And how the ascariasis can be treated? By administration of different drugs, and also by taking proper sanitation methods like washing your hand properly, cooking the vegetables properly can be done. The second disease is tiniasis, caused by a tapeworm called Taenia solium. The specimen of Taenia solium is present in your lab and you have seen it. The body is divided into different segments. This lining which you can see in the Taenia solium's body, these are known as segments. Or you can consider this as bits, different parts. All these parts are joined together and the entire organism has been formed. So this also causes a disease, tiniasis. There are two species of Taenia solium. One is spread by eating the infected pork and the other by infected beef. Now how this worm enters inside the body? Same way like ascariasis, like suppose a person is already infected of tiniasis. He is already having the worm inside his body. And where the worms stay? It stay in the intestinal region. So what happens? This parasite or the worm present in the intestine will enter as in the form of eggs, and those eggs will hatch out and it will start growing. The offspring will start growing. It will increasing its length. It increase up to a meter or so. And when the parasite becomes mature, it has grown up enough, then what happens? As the body is divided into different segments or bits, so it breaks off or it shed off a small part of the segment or small segment from his body from the tail region, and that segment passes out with the excretory waste from the human's body. When the human excrete, that segment also come out with the feces. Feces are the excretory product. Now this segment consists of eggs, large amount of eggs. These eggs falls into the ground in the soil. There might be grasses too. So when the pig or the cow are grazing or feeding on the grass, they accidentally eat those eggs, and those eggs enter inside their body, inside the body of the pig or the cow, and those eggs hatch out and the offspring come out. That offspring is known as larva that will settle in the muscles of the pig or cow, and people those who are eating pork or beef, if they eat that without properly cooking it, then the eggs will not get destroyed, the worms will be there. So that worm will again enter to the intestine of the person who has eaten that imperfectly cooked pork or cow, and it will again grow there. It will again shed out as segment from the with the feces of the human being, and it will again be eaten. This is how the entire life cycle goes on. That's why it is said that we should, whenever we are feeding on non-veg, we should properly cook it, because there are chances of getting adhered to such kind of diseases. So in your book you can find the tapeworm and its life history stages. Just go through it. The first point is the adult tapeworm, which you can see there. It is present in the intestine. It is growing there. It is very long. The length is up to a meter or so, and you can see the different segments. That body is divided into different parts. Number B, you can see the head. The head of the worm has a special name, sculex. C number, you can see a segment, a part of the parasite's body which consists of eggs, and these eggs grow inside the host body, either the in pig's body, might be pig or cow, and it comes out in form of larva. So these are different stages of the tapeworm growth, which you can see in figure 16.3. One thing you remember, that all these parasites have two hosts, means they feed on two organisms. The first host is the cow or pork, and the second or the final host is human being. The third disease is filariasis or elephantiasis. It is caused by a filarial worm, Wuchereria bancrofti. You might have heard of the word Wuchereria bancrofti. We have already talked about it. This disease is also known as tropical disease. It is because this disease is mostly common in tropical areas, areas which are close to the equator. And how this worm enters into the body, enters into the human body? By the bite of a type of mosquito of the species Culex mosquito. Filarial worm enters into the human body by the bite of a Culex mosquito. Now, what it does inside the human's body? These filarial worm attacks the lymphatic system or another connective tissues of the body. Connective tissue, as you know, the tissues which aids in connection of different parts. And lymphatic system consists of different glands and vessels. Glands are like pockets and vessels are pipes, which helps in transporting a type of fluid connective tissue named lymph. Now, you already know that a body consists of two types of fluid connective tissue. One is blood and another is lymph. Blood help in carrying of oxygen because of the presence of RBCs. These RBCs are responsible for carrying the oxygen, whereas the other is lymph. Lymph consists of WBCs or white blood cells, which are the fighting army of your body. This kills the germs when inside our body. So what the lymphatic system does, it helps in transporting that lymph to different parts of the body. Different parts of the body, near the shoulder, in the anal portion, in the front portion, in the chest region, down to the limbs. There are different lymphatic vessels and glands present there. So through these glands and vessels, the lymphatic system transport the lymph to different part of the body. Now what the parasite does, this parasite get inside the body and it mainly block the circulation of lymph. It increase its number and get stuck at certain sites and block the flow of lymph. Due to which what happens? It results in the inflammation of glands and vessels of lymphatic system. Inflammation means that these glands and vessels become swollen, become reddish and swollen, due to which the lymph region, mainly the leg region, as leg region has more number of lymphatic glands and vessels, this leg region start becoming swollen, and it becomes so swollen. You might have also seen also somewhere, maybe any patient. This disease is known as elephantiasis because the legs becomes like legs of elephant. That's why it has been termed as elephantiasis. So, what are the different symptoms? Symptoms is enlargement of limbs or ankle, and in severe cases, fever with chills. What are the different treatment methods? First, you can destroy the vector, destruction of vector. Now, what is the vector in this case? The vector is the Culex mosquito. Vector are the organisms which are carrying the parasites. No, so this disease is caused by the biting of Culex mosquito. So, Culex mosquito is the vector. So, it need to be killed. Second, you can use certain antibiotics. Antibiotics are the help in killing the filarial worms. You can also use the inflammatory analgesics. What are analgesics? Analgesics are the drugs or medicines which give a relief from pain relieving medicines. So as the inflammatory area means the legs become swollen, so the legs pains too much. The person has unbearable pain, so they can have that medicine which can give relief from the pain. So in my next slide, there is a video which will make more clarity to the topic of filariasis, how the mosquito bite and how the filaria enters into the body. It affects the lymphatic region. You can see a picture of a human being showing the different vessels and gland of green color. The entire vessels and glands, pipes and all, those are the lymphatic system. So watch the video and get the concept clear.